Om Shanti. Welcome to today's episode of Masters of Change. Change is like fuel to our lives. If there is no change, our life would come to a standstill. We don't tend to realize it, but change is happening constantly. So even if we don't want change to enter our lives, it'll still enter at any cost. So why not initiate change ourselves so that we are better equipped to handle it when the changes happen in our daily lives? And to help us take a better perspective and to accept change in a better way, today we have with us Sister Carolin from Germany. Welcome, Sister.
Thank you very much.
How are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm very happy to be here in Mount Abu with a pleasant climate and seeing all my friends from all over the world.
That's great. So if you can take us through your journey, how did you come across spirituality and where did it start from?
I had the fortune to find Raj Yoga very early in my life when I was 19. And before then, I was already very aware about all the injustice and global crisis we had even then,
Right.
at that time.
Right.
And I tried to do something about it. I really couldn't make peace with the situation of the world, and I felt I have to engage in trying to make the world a better world.
Yeah.
And the way I did that was through political activism. Okay. I engaged in Germany's Green Party and other movements.
That early in your life?
Yes, okay. When I was 16, wow. I started. And so I participated in demonstrations and all sorts of what society can do.
Yeah.
To raise awareness and to talk to people and so on. And one topic which was very big then in Germany was nuclear energy. Today we don't have nuclear energy anymore like other European countries in that major way.
Yeah.
But at that time it still was the main supplier. So we went out on the street and demonstrated. And so just imagine out on the countryside in front of this nuclear energy power plant, young people, old people from all over the country gathering together and demonstrate.
Yeah.
And so police was also there from all over the country.
Yeah.
And some were very okay and good, and some were very not okay, very violent. And I was very young, 16, something like that, and I haven't seen something like that before. It was a bit actually like a war scene with helicopters and water guns shooting on the demonstrators to bring them away from the railway where the Castor, the nuclear waste would be coming through.
Right.
And so it was completely new for me. I came from a very protected family, and but I felt it's important to do something. And then there was this very young policeman who was actually very arrogant and violent, and I saw him beating an old farmer already lying on the floor, who was there to protect his land. And I was shocked, and
that's sad.
Yes, I really deeply shocked, and he was about to beat him with his hard plastic glove, and I was like, touched him on his shoulder. He was very tall, I was very short. I said, "You can't do that." And then he turned around and nearly I had his glove in my hand, in my face. Just last minute I pulled back. And that moment I was like, when a second becomes like 10 minutes, like it was like a film in a slow motion.
It was like a life-changing event for you.
Absolutely. I wouldn't have thought this is possible, like this injustice and unfairness to my perception. And he was quite arrogant. He was even provoking the demonstrants so he could beat them, Not all police were like that at all, but this guy was like that. And so I looked at him and then I thought, he could be my brother, and we are fighting against each other. This is in a country like Germany. This is crazy. And I saw his artificial face expression, like provocative, and I had these inner thoughts, And then I also had I felt like we are here doing all these efforts, fighting for something good, and we have no chance. We've just been carried away. That's not fair. And I was kind of talking to the universe. At that time, I didn't believe in God anymore because I was so frustrated about the world.
Injustice.
Yes, about the situation in the world. And so I was kind of calling out to something higher than me. And what then happened was like really a gift. I felt like a lot of power suddenly, of light, like a waterfall, flew through me. And what it did with me, and I didn't know where this coming was, it was like an answer from the universe. Today I would say this was a touching of God's direct, having heard his child crying out.
Right after that incident?
It was in the moment.
Oh, in the moment.
I was still in front of that policeman.
Oh.
But what this energy did, which I received, was I suddenly could see something else in that policeman. I could see behind this artificial mask. I could see beyond this violent guy. And then I really saw beauty. And this is when I thought we could be siblings.
Wow.
And the moment I was able to see that,
Yeah.
I felt a lot of love for him. So from being angry and aggressive and frustrated to suddenly feeling connected and love. And it was really pure love for my brother. And it was so deep and overwhelming that I started to cry. And I was looking at him. He was tall, I was short. And he, at one point, he noticed that something is strange with this little girl. And looking at him with tears in her eyes and even crying. And he also, I think, felt the vibration because it was so different.
So his emotion changed? Did he changed as well?
Yes.
Okay.
So the first thing, he was a bit surprised, and he looked at me, and then he was like putting his arms like this and looking down, and like, what do you want from me,
Yeah.
But then he
became uncomfortable seeing.
Yes, was probably like a mirror or something.
Yeah.
And I think also something very authentic and true in that moment, beside all the chaos and him being so artificial. And then the next thing what happened was his arms went down, and we just kept looking at each other, into each other's eyes like we do.
Yeah.
And I think the laugh reached him.
Right.
And then he kind of started to relax and to breathe, and his mask went down, his face relaxed, and he wasn't able to beat anyone anymore. He wasn't able to do his job anymore.
So powerful.
Yes, and I was surprised.
Yeah.
It
was
just
a
happened.
new experience for you altogether.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I haven't had any meditation before, meditation experience. I didn't know it, so it was a gift. But I knew now, okay, there is another energy there at work. There's another dimension of power beside the physical power, political power. There's another dimension of power which is much more effective or powerful to really transform people, like totally.
Yeah.
So now I got very interested in that, to find
Knowing
out.
That more. Yeah. So how did your search begin, and what happened next?
I didn't know exactly where to start, but I knew I have to find out what was happening to me. So I was 19 and I was in school still, and I felt I have to go to India. I had no rational answer to that because my parents were like, you want to go to India? Why don't you go to the US? And I said, no, I want to go to India. And it was more an innocent knowing that this country has something to offer, the ancient wisdom and of course meditation.
Did you always want to come to India, or was it sudden, that feeling?
It was growing. It was growing. And I couldn't really say why, but it was very clear inside of myself.
Okay.
So I started to investigate about meditation and India, and but it was only when I actually reached in India that I got a feel of the country and the cool culture of believing in something higher, which is not only materialistic.
And which year was it?
1998.
Okay. Did you came with some perception about India, or you came with an open mind?
I came with a pretty open mind. I did make contact with Indians in Germany, so I informed myself. I collected some addresses where I could go to and so on.
All right.
But I didn't have much knowledge.
All right. So how was your experience like? Where did you land and where did you go?
I landed in Delhi,
okay.
And I connected to someone who was with the Gandhi Peace Foundation. And I liked the work they were doing, and he was a social worker and so on. But we wanted to see India, of course, such a diverse country. And when I say we, I mean my sister who was with me.
Right.
The two of us were on that journey. And so then we went to Himachal Pradesh and we tried with a Buddhist, but that didn't work out. So we went back to Delhi, Agra, and then we heard, in Delhi we heard for the first time about Mount Abu, that you can learn meditation there. And in Jaipur again. And so Mount Abu was on our journey anyway. We wanted to go until the south of India. And so we came here, and then we did the meditation course, and that kind of answered all my life questions, like what is making human beings valuable.
Wow. How long was the course?
The course, we started the first 2-3 lessons, and then we started again, and we decided, we actually had a ticket to go further, a bus or train ticket, I don't remember, and we postponed it from week to week to week, and finally we stayed for 2 months.
Wow. And how long was the duration of the course?
We did it every day, and I think 7 lessons, but we did it at least 3-4 times because we wanted to hear it again and again and go deeper into it. It really struck me, and when I do something, I do it fully, so I really wanted to find out about how this is then practiced. I wanted to see the people who live it. Is it real? Is it not only theory? And how is it looking practically?
Right.
So I had a lot of people here in the campus to observe and to get to know.
You're in Mount Abu?
Yes.
Okay. And so how did your perception change? When you started, you must have had a lot of questions about all the concepts, new concepts, I'm sure. So how did it become true to you? Like, how did you know that these all concepts are true in a way?
I think I'm someone who needs to see the practical thing as well. I'm not so much impressed by theory.
Yeah.
So one thing which was bothering me as a student in school was I could see that the value of a student amongst the peers was always with something external, for example, the brand of your jeans. And I didn't like that at all. And I tried to escape from that by going into the opposite, becoming, a bit rebellion to it. But then I could see the same patterns, even in that subculture, let's say political groups, again happened. So you had to have this rucksack or these shoes or that, listen to this music. So I couldn't really find the solution how to escape from these external identities. Okay. And doing the Raj Yoga course, I for the first time then heard, we are souls, we are spiritual beings, we live in this body, and the soul in itself is mutually valuable. And this is an inherent goodness in each of us, and that we all are souls.
Right.
And it sounds simple, but it really clicked to me that it's not only my achievements or how I look like, but it's the beauty inside me, the being, which makes me valuable. That's it. And that was like a liberation, Okay. Yeah, so things like that, but also about time, questions about time I had, and I could very much relate to the concept of time in Raj Yoga philosophy and so on.
All right. So, and how did it change? When it must have brought a lot of changes inside you. So were they difficult? Like our show's name is Masters of Change.
Yes.
So did you resist to any change, or did you accept whatever changes were happening inside of you?
I was very attracted by the knowledge and also by the experience I had in meditation. I was lucky enough to have very quickly beautiful experiences of peace and love from the Divine Being.
If you can share some of those experiences,
yes.
Unusual experiences.
So it was very new, and I was sitting there and just practicing, okay, I'm a soul, I visualize the point of light behind my eyes, I collect all my energy there, withdraw from the physical dimension, and I gently, in my mind, leave my body and fly up to the subtle dimension and what we call the home of the souls, the supreme land of where souls come from or live, reside, the soul world. And so I did that, and I felt now I'm becoming bodiless, I'm totally light and free, and now I enter that soul world, and there I meet the Supreme Being, my loving Father, God. And the moment I saw the light in my mind, I was deeply moved in that experience I'm talking about. Yeah. It was like reconnecting to an old friend, which I had forgotten about, which I had lost. And so it was a beautiful and overwhelming experience, but it was in particular the quality of love. Yeah. The love I was getting in that moment coming to me was a love which I never had experienced before. Yeah. One, because I could feel it was endless, and it was unconditional, and it was pure. It was not a bargain, which often is between human beings. I give you this, you give me that, I give you attention, you give me love, or whatever. But this was on a completely different level. This was so uplifting and holistic in a way that it also gave me an idea about who I am. And I didn't realize I had an out-of-body experience in that moment. I only realized it when it came to my mind that, how long am I sitting here? I have to actually go to the class. And then I went to the door, and my body was still sitting there in front of the picture. And I really had to go back into the body and activate the body, and to move the body was right. Take ownership of it. So that's when I realized, okay, I was so much in a different.
And you said that your sister also was with you. So
yes.
Did she have the same kind of experience like you had?
I don't think the same, but she was also very impressed about the community, how people were living together, doing mundane work, day-to-day work, and include spiritual consciousness into daily life. Right. So that's not something which is like you do in a cave somewhere in the mountain on your own, but actually where the challenges are, where life is.
Correct. So you were 19 back then. So when you started with all this, the attractions of the world, like as we all know, when people are in their teenage, all the attractions which are not really that healthy, we get to know after a point of time. Didn't that used to attract you, all the parties and stuff, all those kind of things?
I think now I would say I was lucky that I had experienced a lot already, and getting in touch with that quality of purity, love, truth. Yeah. I was very attracted by truth, actually. Truth and true love made it very clear for me that there is...
You didn't want all of that?
No way that this would be, an option for me. It was like plastic, fake, very clearly fake. So that were my inner clarity.
It was an easy choice for you to make?
No, it was clear for me.
All right. So all these things which you experienced, I'm sure you wanted to let others know as well that I've experienced this and others should experience it as well. Was it easy for you to convey it to others in this feeling?
No, it was a long learning journey for me.
Okay.
First of all, with my family, I had to learn to not make them afraid, like, you know, hello parents, now I live a different life.
Correct.
I mean, and they were like, oh my God, you know, my child is suddenly, what is it doing from a very different culture and so on.
Right.
And they were mostly afraid that I would not, you know, have a proper education and a job and be able to earn my living and so on. So I needed to convince and show the proof of that I'm still able to live a normal life in this world, and you know, study and do all of that. And then they were okay.
Convinced,
yeah.
Okay. And such a, beautiful journey. I would want to hear more, like, about your experiences as it went through after the age of 19. How did it change?
Yeah, so well, I was very young, and even though I had beautiful meditation experiences and I understood the depths of, to a certain extent at least, of Raj Yoga, it was a completely different journey than to bring that into my life.
Yeah. And practical.
Yes. And so, let's say you are in a situation, you work with others and you see something and you want to say it and you want to express it, and I couldn't really speak in front of others. And you know, just trying to describe, you have built an identity on a wrong belief of who you are, identifying with, I'm German, I'm a woman, I'm this and that. And now you know this is not who I am, and you experience I'm this being, but then you don't know how your new identity really feels and is in practice. So it's like learning to walk again, you know?
Gaining all those experiences as this new being.
And I couldn't use my old way of being because it felt fake. It was wrong, and it was like a blockage. So I was very blocked in the beginning of you know, not knowing how to live who I really am. So I had to learn to have patience with myself and to give myself love and to not mind myself making a fool of myself, wanting to say something and then suddenly being blank, you know, or very shy and insecure.
Maybe it was because of your introverted nature?
Yes, I was an introverted and not a very extroverted person, that's true as well.
When did that change? When did you start to express freely?
Yeah, I had to really understand what was the process going on in myself. And there were different levels. I think I put a lot of pressure on myself and wanted to be perfect. Yeah. And I wasn't comfortable with doing mistakes. I had to learn that making mistakes is the best way to learn and to accept that. But also dependency, like hoping others to love me or appreciate me or see me and understand me or support me. And that dependency made me like stiff. I couldn't move. So I really had to learn to become my own support as well and empower myself through that, and also take support from the Supreme Being, and to build and to make my own steps without hoping others would like what I'm doing or would support me or would listen to me, to really let go of all of that and be totally self-sustained. And that was the only way how I slowly gained self-respect and the practice to live myself and stand on my own 2 feet.
Right. So it happened, all happened gradually.
Yes, very gradually.
And did you take part in activism after this? Were you involved with back home? Were you involved with any activism after this? So that, how was that experience? So pre meditation experience and post, when you were exposed to spirituality, how did that change?
I stopped that for many years because I felt I really need to give full attention and time to myself first.
Yeah.
I really knew I had to figure out this for myself and live it. I cannot just blah 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 it.
Yeah.
That doesn't work for me.
Right.
It doesn't work. It's not. People will pick up, and I didn't want that. I really wanted to change myself.
Yeah, and it takes time.
Yes, and that takes time.
Yeah.
So I took that time and
Yeah.
grew, and as I was young, I really needed to mature in my emotions and all of
Correct.
that. But then later, when I finished my studies and started to work and so on, I started to engage again in the environment arena, and it was so beautiful that I could connect to the activists because I had been one of them, and I knew how they feel, how frustrated they often are. But now I could come from, as a spiritual person, from a very different angle and build bridges to them to support them in maybe seeing the whole, the crisis we face in a deeper level.
And in a more relaxed way.
Yes.
More calm way.
And sustain oneself, because many get burned out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Correct. So it helped in your work as well.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So you've been a part of UN climate change conferences as well.
Yes.
So if you can tell us the kind of discussions you were a part of there, which might be of help.
So the climate change conferences of the UN is one of the biggest conferences the UN have, happening every year for 2 weeks, and bringing together something like 30,000 of people from all over the world.
Correct.
And very different ones, negotiators negotiating for their countries, but also scientists and all sorts of civil society.
Yeah.
And so usually the climate change conference were very technical and political. But slowly, when we went there, we were actually the first organization which talked about consciousness and climate change. And people didn't know how that relates to one another, but it was relatively simple to explain. When we want to make changes in a society, we first have to change our thinking and our perspective on things. Like, for example, the way how we see the world, that the world is not just a supermarket where we can just grab and take, but it's a sensitive living system which we can harm and bring out of balance. But, the way we relate to this sensitive living system is totally then different to a cold, materialistic worldview of a supermarket.
Yeah.
Like that. And so, and another thing is like the growing discontent and emptiness, and now it's very visible that lack of resources is creating it's a security issue. Countries start to create wars about resources. So these connections people haven't been aware at that time. Now it's becoming very visible. So we talked about the connection of inner transformation, of lifestyle change.
Right. So if an individual wants to contribute to this climate change and he wants to bring a positive impact, and how to raise their consciousness, if someone wants to do it, if you can tell 3 or 4 easy ways in which they can support this.
Yes. First of all, I want to say that personal change, even though one can think I'm only one of so many billions of people, but personal change has a lot of power on our peers, on our family and society, because not many people can really change themselves. And suddenly there is someone that has a bigger impact as you might think. So if you, for example, turn vegetarian or even vegan, you do a lot of, you save a lot of CO2 emissions, because the whole meat production and the milk production create a lot of CO2. And CO2 leads to greenhouse gases and the warming of the planet.
Correct.
That's one thing. But, in general, if meditation helps you to feel fulfilled inside, to feel good inside.
Well, it was such a lovely conversation, and I'm sure I have picked a lot of things from this conversation and to apply and to see the changes in myself. Thank you for taking our time to talk to us. It was a pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.